Hey, sorry. Jump scare.
So, yeah, you read the title right. I went on over 40 first dates in about 8 or 9 months, and before anybody starts doing the math and getting confused, let me explain.
What?
The only reason I was able to go on that many first dates is because they stayed first dates. Like, I'd grab a coffee with a guy, maybe go to dinner, come home, and then never see him again. There was no second date, no third date, no situationship, no secret boyfriend, no monkey business either. Literally just one date.
Thank you for your time and goodbye forever.
So if you are wondering why I decided to put myself through all of that, the answer starts with a breakup. At the time, I just ended a relationship that completely shattered my confidence. And honestly, the relationship itself wasn't even the worst part, because I've experienced cheating before, I've experienced lying before, I've been through pretty much every kind of toxic relationship at this point. But the thing that hurt me the most was I got gaslit to the point where I genuinely believed I wasn't worthy of a healthy relationship. Part of that came from the fact that his family was one of those super happy, healthy families, you know the type.
My childhood looked different.
My mom was incredibly strict. Like when I got a love letter in elementary school, I literally got in trouble for that. Which is honestly kind of funny now.
But definitely wasn't funny at the time.
And don't get me wrong, my mom loves me so much. But growing up, she wasn't the kind of parent who constantly told me how proud she was of me or how amazing I was. You know, we showed love differently. It was more actions than words. So when I got into that relationship, I already had insecurities that I hadn't fully worked through yet. And somehow, after hearing the same things over and over again, I convinced myself that maybe he was right. Maybe because I didn't have 2 master's degrees like he did. Maybe because my family wasn't as wealthy as his. And eventually, I convinced myself that of course he would choose someone else. Which is absolutely insane looking back. Because nobody should ever feel like they have to earn basic love and respect. But when someone you love keeps feeding you the same story over and over again, eventually you start believing it. And that was the most painful part. Not the breakup, not the arguments, not even the relationship itself. The most painful part was losing trust in myself. So after the breakup, I made a decision. I wasn't going to jump straight into another relationship. I wasn't trying to find someone to fix the pain.
I wanted to understand myself first.
Because if a guy's stupid comments could make me question my entire value as a person, then clearly there was a part of me that didn't really know myself yet. So I started reading a lot of psychology books. I started going on
Date after date after date.
not because I was desperate for love, but because I wanted to figure out what love was actually supposed to look like.
What I valued, what I didn't value, what I would never tolerate again.
But you know what's funny? One thing I noticed almost immediately was how many guys try to impress women with money. And I'm not even kidding. One guy's literal opening move was sending me a whole list of expensive restaurants and telling me to pick one.
Bro.
We don't know each other. You don't know me. I don't know you. We haven't even established that you are not a serial and you are already trying to book a luxury dinner. And then there was another guy. We'd been texting back and forth for a bit, and one day he asked me out. I wasn't really feeling it because I just didn't want to leave my house that day. And then this man goes, "Oh, by the way, I drive a Porsche or Porsche."
Dude.
What does that have to do with anything? Why did you think that was going to change my mind? If anything, that low-key felt insulting. Like, what kind of person do you think I am? So dating should start with mutual respect. If you are not interested in getting to know me as a person, or even giving me a chance to figure out whether you are actually a decent, normal human being, but your immediate reaction is,
Money talks.
that's a huge turn-off for me. And yes, money does talk. Of course it does. Money matters. I'm not pretending it doesn't. But as your pickup line,
Please be serious.
come on. I think more people need to stop being impressed by how rich someone is or how expensive the gifts they buy are. If a guy thinks flowers are a waste of money because they die in a few days, but he knows I love flowers and still brings me flowers just because they make me happy, that tells me so much more about his character. Does he make an effort even when it's inconvenient? Does he try to fix problems when things get difficult instead of disappearing? Because flowers are not about flowers. Those little things are never actually about the thing. Those things reveal character. Because at the end of the day, money can come and go, status can disappear, looks can change, and a person's character. That's one of the hardest things to change. So every single time a man tried to impress me with money, I got annoyed. Like, really annoyed. Because what kind of a person do you think I am? And one thing I learned about myself through all of this is that I suck at handling loss. Like, genuinely, historically speaking, every time I lost someone I cared about, I would absolutely crash out. I'm talking sad girl playlist, staring at the ceiling, questioning my entire existence type of energy.
I was bad. Like, really bad.
And after doing a lot of reflecting, I realized something kind of uncomfortable. One of the reasons relationships hurt me so much was because I was relying on them way too heavily. And I realized that strength isn't having someone. Strength is being able to keep going even after losing someone. I think people often assume the pain comes from the loss itself. But honestly, I think the real damage comes from the emotional mess that happens afterward.
It's the feeling of not knowing who you are without them.
That's what hurts. So while I was going on all these dates, I wasn't just learning about men, I was trying to learn about myself. I wanted to stop treating people like anchors and learn how to become my own anchor. And yes, I started with something ridiculously simple. I limited how often I replied to messages. Most days, once or twice. That's it. Not because I was trying to be mysterious, not because I was trying to act unavailable. I intentionally planned my days around my own life first. My morning routine, my workouts, my work, my goals, my personal growth. And then if I had time, I'd reply. Because I wanted to stop making someone else the center of my world. I wanted to get to a place where I wasn't overly excited every time someone showed up and completely devastated every time someone left. And the crazy thing is, our brains are actually capable of doing that. Your brain can adapt. It can build new habits, it can create new neural pathways, it can literally become stronger. And once I started doing that, 3 major things changed. First, I stopped being afraid of loss. Second, I stopped being overly dependent on people. And third, relationships stopped running my life. And let me tell you something. When your entire life doesn't revolve around whether someone texts you back, holy shit. Focusing on your own life is so freaking amazing. It's peaceful, it's empowering. It's honestly one of the best feelings ever. So this is the moment where everything in my brain was like, wait, hold on. I get it now. Trust your instincts. Seriously. If a connection feels like you are constantly confused or you are always trying to decode how someone feels about you, or you are reading between the lines all the time, that is already your answer. And I had to learn this the hard way. Obviously, I used to ignore that feeling all the time. I would try to rationalize everything and convince myself to stay. But dating is actually not that deep when you think about it. It's more like 2 people saying if they make sense together. Like, are we actually aligned? Or are we forcing something just because we do not want to let go yet? People always say it won't work without trust and respect. And yeah, that's true. But it's also consistency, emotional safety, effort, and how someone shows up when things are not convenient. And you cannot rush that.
You really can't.
It takes as long as it takes. But the biggest thing I learned through all of this is you have to be willing to let go. Letting go is not losing time. It's not wasted effort. It's actually clarity. And just because you invested time into someone does not mean you owe them your future. Once that clicked for me, everything changed. Letting go for the wrong person is never a loss. It's just you finally choosing yourself. And looking back now, I low-key think this whole experience helped me way more than I expected. I learned what my boundaries actually are. I learned what behaviors instantly turn me off. I learned what I refuse to tolerate no matter how attractive someone is.
That's very important.
And I learned which flaws actually don't bother me that much because let's be real, nobody's perfect. And I truly believe that before you jump into a relationship, you need to know yourself first. Because you can't tell someone how to love you if you don't know yourself first. You need to know your boundaries before someone tests them. And you need to know what your non-negotiables are before feelings start clouding your judgment. But with all that being said, please protect yourself first, okay? Every time I tell people about this experience, they're always like,
Girl, that's dangerous.
but before every single date, I spend a lot of time texting them first. And trust me, if anything felt even slightly off, I was out. For example, like one guy kept casually mentioning that he graduated from Stanford.
Bro,
I'm looking for a date, not hiring an employee, okay? Or the guys who randomly calls me out of nowhere saying,
yo, I'm bored.
oh my god. Oh my god, I hate that. Every single time that happened, I was like, are you trying to talk to me? Or are you looking for a booty call? Because those are very two different things, you know that, right? Maybe I was being overly cautious. Maybe. But honestly, I think that mindset filtered out so much. So yes, these 46 first dates were absolutely worth it for me. Just make sure that if you ever do something like this, protecting yourself comes first. Always, okay? Take care of yourself. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye.